Folks, it's time to go lights out with the person you may know as simply Nascarcasm. If you don't follow him on Twitter, you should. His real name is Dave Vrabel, and Dave's with us right now. Dave, tell us how you got started in this. I think your social media is wonderfully entertaining. How did you get started in the whole thing?
Awesome. Well, first off, thank you very much for lying right at the get-go about the social media channels. I really appreciate that. But honestly, so the way this all kicked off, I wish there was like more to it. It's really, kind of just a basic story. So I graduated with a degree in journalism, and right after school, I was working at newspapers, primarily in a production, like graphic design role. So like doing informational graphics, illustrations, things like that. My last stop on this trip was at the Indianapolis Business Journal here in Indianapolis. And right around that time is when Twitter was still kind of sort of in its infancy, but kind of gaining popularity. So I was sitting watching a Pocono race with my wife and kind of just making these snide comments here and there. And she was just like, oh, why don't you start one of these Twitter accounts or something? I'm like, okay, fine. And so, I was trying to think like, what's a good name for this? NASCAR sarcasm. Hey, let's merge these two words together so that they're really hard to pronounce, and then let's go from there. And the reason why I kept it anonymous or like remained anonymous for so long was because when I was at the Indianapolis Business Journal, we had a guy who covered the motorsports beat, obviously, because we're here in Indianapolis. And so I didn't want to cause issues with him. So I was like, I'll just hide my face and, kind of run from there. Nothing will ever happen with this anyways.
And so the rest is history, I guess they say.
Yeah.
So, all right, it's very important. Last week, Wood Brothers won, right?
Mm-hmm.
And,
yes.
and you ranked the most important wood in NASCAR. Brothers.
Yeah.
Rutledge.
Yes.
And what's the rest?
Oh gosh, I would have to pull that up, but I believe there was Ply in there. And I forget 4, but I think Morning was in there also. We can't forget about that one. Probably the best, probably the favorite. Yeah, I was just like, yeah.
Yeah, so
whoever gets it,
good friend of ours. Good friend of ours, Dave, used to live on
Rutledge.
Morningwood Drive, and the sign got stolen all the time. And they couldn't keep the sign.
Why would you even bother? Yeah, why would you even bother
don't
keeping
put it back up?
It's like,
Don't
exactly.
Call it Morningwood.
Yeah, exactly. Put it like 30 feet up or something like that, Yeah,
okay. And in your mind, has Noah Gragson passed Michael Waltrip as best hair in NASCAR?
Oh, you know what? I believe so. And I think it's just because of the variety that Noah has employed over time. He's gone full mullet. Do you remember when he had that Amish bowl cut for a little while?
Yeah.
Which I believe was at the time. My favorite thing about the bowl cut was that he basically selected the Amish bowl cut as I'm going to get in a fight era. I'm going to get in a fight that goes viral era. I'm going to get in Ross Chastain's face and like get punched with this, like I said, Amish Acres haircut, and it's going to go viral. And so, on all the newscasts and all the sports recap shows, like everyone's going to be like, oh, there was a NASCAR fight. Ross Chastain hit, I think, some dude named Jebediah. I'm not sure. So I think by far Noah has definitely surpassed him, not only, with the hair, but also the unzipped V-neck. The unzipped fire suit. I'm sorry. Kind of sort of showing off the old tough Burt Reynolds style.
Tim Richmond thing, right?
Precisely. Noah just needs to do the aerobics, and go full Tim.
With the leg warmers back in the day that were actually cool. So remember, Dave, it used to be you wrecked me, so I wrecked you back. Nowadays, it's you wrecked me, so I'm going to text you.
Yes.
I'll text you.
I'm going to send you a stern verbal warning. That's kind of weird how Twitter kind of sort of added an extra step to that process. Social media added an extra step, or, the post-race interview. It's like, you wreck me, then I'm going to go on Twitter and I'm going to say something like, like harsh about you, or I'm going to send you a strongly worded text. And And I don't know if that's better or not, John, because obviously you don't want like pure, revenge and chaos every week happening, but also at the very least, share the text. If you're going to do that, we want to know, did, was profanity used? Was correct grammar used? We want to see these text messages really. I think that's only fair. And if I had my druthers, I would add that to the rule book.
So remember at Texas, it was Jeff Burton and Jeff Gordon, and it was kind of like a little slap fight. They had the slap fight at Texas after the race or after their wreck. What about these days, though, man? We got some guys I wouldn't really mess with. We got bigger, stronger drivers these days. I think if you want to fight, you better be careful, huh?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of my theory, John. Why no one will pass Austin Hill. We saw it at Atlanta. I think everyone is kind of just hesitant to pass Austin Hill because, like, God forbid they get loose, they get caught, like get some bad air or something like that, wash into him, because they know if, for God forbid, they were to collect Austin in themselves and cost Austin Hill the win, like they will not stick around for post-race interviews. They are running. They're hightailing out of there,
Yeah.
because I mean, I will not. I do not want to make Austin Hill mad, nor will I ever. So I think I would say him is someone that I wouldn't want to mess with. Definitely Jeffrey Earnhardt. Earnhardt, because he's like MMA. He spends his off time training in Brazilian jiu-jitsu and yanking 300-pound catfish out of holes. Yeah, that's another guy.
Which is whole story. The noodling. Noodling is a whole story. And it was stuff, back in the day, no one really wanted to mess with Ryan Newman, even though there is a vault somewhere containing Ryan Newman's neck.
Yes.
He had no neck, but no one messed with him.
Yes. Yeah. And you know what? I think that's precisely the reason. It's like, what are you going to do? Put him in a headlock? You can't. Seriously, you can't put Ryan Newman in a headlock. He'll just like squirt right out, man. He's it's kind of like a built-in Hans device almost, just like it's like, hi, I'm Ryan and I'm built to be a race car driver, and I he kind of exactly, he kind of gained that reputation, I think also by getting in. He wasn't afraid of getting Jimmy Johnson's face. He wasn't obviously wasn't afraid of getting Joey Logano's face that one time, which I found hilarious. I believe that was at Michigan. And it's just like, Joey, what are you doing, buddy? leave. Oh gosh. Oh Lord. Can't look.
All right. So Dave, true story. Sam Hornish and Ryan Newman go to do a Mobil 1. They both had Mobil 1 on their respective, the Indy car and a race car. And Sam said their first idea was that they would put Ryan on a box. So the top of their heads were equal. And when they got Ryan and Sam out there and they equaled out the top of their heads, their shoulders were 8 inches off. So they decided to go back and do and equal out the shoulders, not the top. This
was before CGI and like TikTok filters and everything. We could come up with a filter that gave Newman 2 or 3 inches of neck. I mean, honest to God, every time I saw him at the the banquet or whatever, and you see him wearing a bow tie or a necktie, you're just like, how? How did you pull that off, man?
How'd you get that in there?
Yeah, exactly. It's like around your chin, but you do what you got to do, man.
So isn't it amazing how the NASCAR fan hates a winner? It just amazed me over the years where, when people started, Jimmy Johnson was just kicking everybody's butts. All of a sudden, everybody hates Jimmy Johnson. Would you like hate puppy dogs or hate ice cream? You can find a nicer guy in the world. And then there's Joey Logano hatred out there. I don't understand, but I guess that's a seal of approval, right? When people hate you, you're good?
Oh, yeah, apparently so. And, back to your point, John, I have never understood the hating or blaming a guy for winning. It happened for years, with Jimmy Johnson. Oh, Jimmy Johnson won again, blah. We saw it on social media. We saw it on TV all the time. And they're blaming him for doing his job and winning. And what I've said all along, blame the driver you're rooting for not figuring out how to beat him for 5 consecutive seasons. Like, maybe put the onus on them a little bit. They couldn't figure out how to beat this guy for 5 straight seasons and then 2 others non-consecutively. It's like, it's their fault, not Jimmy's, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And again, are you going to hate ice cream too? You couldn't find a nicer guy. And Joey too. Joey's a nice guy. He races a little hard, and now
Hmm.
everybody's getting mad at Carson Hocevar for some reason. But last time I checked, it's NASCAR racing, right? It's not NASCAR move out of the way for somebody else.
Oh, precisely, man. I don't want guys like Logano or Hocevar to be diluted in any sort of way. I would, maybe there's a balance they can strike where, yeah, sure, Carson would probably agree that there might be an instance or two where he was too aggressive, but I also don't want him to lose that edge, man. I don't want him to, kind of sort of just lose, the thing that makes him Carson Hocevar. I hope he continues with his current track because I was at Atlanta. I was down at the end of pit road observing the conversation between himself and Ross Chastain, and it lends credence to my theory, John, that you cannot be too mad at a guy that is taller than you. It's really hard to do. You cannot be that mad because you're like, what are you going to do? Like, you want to fight, buddy? Bring it, like how can you do that? You can't, man. You really can't. And yeah, because one of these when these hotshot kind of sort of aggressive polarizing drivers suddenly lose that edge. I kind of liken it to like when your buddy who was always down to like go out and get ripped and throw down and get turned at the bars or whatever calls you and says, "Hey man, I'm having a kid." And you're just like, oh, man. It's like, oh, God, it's over. It's over. All right,
Yeah,
fine.
I guess that's Boyer, right?
Yeah.
But having a kid didn't slow him down, though.
Oh, no. Boyer will forever be Boyer, and God bless him for that.
Yes.
He is just a machine. He is the I'm trying to think of what I had figured out that Boyer was like 50% like Boss Hog, 30% Gary Busey, 20% John Force. Like that is like the DNA makeup of Clint Boyer. It is a force.
Yep, and we need him to never change. Hey, so Dave, what's the next race you're going to?
I've actually got to figure that out right now, John. I was just at Atlanta.
Come to Bristol.
And yeah, it might be Bristol. So what's happening actually right now is I've mentioned it, like I've posted a lot about it on social media, but my wife is wrapping up breast cancer treatment. The radiation is done in a few days. And then
awesome.
after
That's great to
that,
hear.
yeah, she's just down to some what's called targeted therapy infusions, which are every 3 weeks, and they don't really cause side effects, which is really nice.
Nice.
After this point, I can finally go full bore and figure out what the next race is going to be. I'm itching to get back a lot, and she is too. And so the next race we get to, it'll hopefully be both of us because we have received so many messages, so much support, so much love from like all corners of NASCAR. It's mind blowing how much. And like she's like, I want to go and just say thank you to people because she's not been able to say thank you in person to people for so long. And so we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna hit it pretty hard as soon as this radiation thing is done. And yeah, so as soon as I find out, I will absolutely let you know because like I said, I want to get back. I need to get back into my important role of annoying people in person.
Yeah, exactly. Because I would do it every day, but it's better to do it in person. But the next time we have Trackside Live is going to be at Bristol, and we'd love to see you two there.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I want to talk to her when she gets back. She has one of those real jobs, so I will have to talk to her when she gets back.
I had one once.
Yeah,
Didn't work out too
overrated.
well.
Overrated. Yeah, I know. Seriously, like I said, at a real job, you can't dress like this. You can't be rocking your NASCAR sweatshirt and your sweet Scott Bloomquist hat, man. That's why I dig whatever the hell this is.
All right, he is Nascarcasm, Dave Vrabel. If you don't follow him, you should. Brother, thanks for coming by. We really appreciate talking to you. Had some fun, and we'll do it again.
Absolutely, John. Thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.